Yo, baby pop. Hey, y'all. It's your favorite perky barista, Juanita Michelle, and we're here in JM Enterprises. And as you know, the coffee house is gone. So we are here now with the Broken Entrepreneur Podcast. And today, we're bringing in February so sweet. We've got two of Dayton's power couples. I said it. Black love at its finest in business together. We've got the Richardsons, and we've got Aaron and Ed. Oh my God, E and E, and little old me. So before we get started and really dig into these couples and learn how they are making power moves together, I want to remind you guys that the Broken Entrepreneur Podcast is here not to celebrate brokenness, but we are here to recognize that brokenness happens, but when we recognize it, we can change it, right? So I need to start talking to the couples because I want to know more about them, okay? So, Aaron and Ed, can you tell me, please, first of all, thank you for being here because you guys are in a crunch time. Yeah. So I appreciate your time, but please tell us who you are and tell us about the businesses that you guys work together.
Absolutely. So I'm Erin Parrott, soon to be joiner. We're engaged, like my fiance.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I would love to show you my ring. My nails aren't done, so we'll just do it this way. Here you go. I'm over here with my hands crossed like that. But
it's beautiful, y'all.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you, ladies. But I am the owner of After 5 and co-owner of The Reserve. After 5 has been in business since 2019, so approaching our 5th year, which is crazy. And then The Reserve, it's been in incubation for 18 months, and she's about to fully be birthed this upcoming weekend. So
congratulations. Dayton is so excited about the opening of The Reserve.
We hope so.
Oh my goodness. It's going to all pay off. It's going to all pay off. And Clarice and Gerald, tell us who you are and what businesses you guys operate together.
Please.
So Clarice Richardson, that's my husband Gerald. We've been married for 10 years, going on 11 in June. And we own Rich Taste Catering and RFFG Food Group.
Oh my goodness. Little secret, y'all. This is my cousin, okay? So Clarice Richardson, a.k.a. Clarice Darden. We family. Just believe me. Believe me, okay? The Dardens, we are one, okay? So anyway, you guys have been in business, and how is it working with your partner, like your life partner? How does that feel? I just want to know because, we love to see Black love in action, but it is amazing that you guys are going to sleep together, you wake up together, you go to work together. How does that feel?
Want to go first?
You can go ahead.
Well, I will say this. It's rewarding. It definitely has its challenges because you are together constantly in all capacities, so professionally and in the non-professional world. But the biggest benefit is that you know your partner. So It's not any second guessing. I know him up and down, right and left. If I was blindfolded and he was in the room, I could probably tell where he is. So there's just an element of trust that comes with being in business with your life partner than a friend or even just a general family member. So that's one of the biggest upsides for me.
That's lovely. Thank you. What about you guys?
I think it's very similar. We're both visionaries, so the greatest thing is that we can come together and have ideas at the same time. We can talk about it all the time. That also presents a challenge because then you realize it's 7 o'clock and you're talking about work and you've been talking about it since 7 a.m. And so that's something that we've learned to really work on within the last year is really just cutting that time off.
Okay, setting some boundaries.
Setting some boundaries for sure. But I think it's been a benefit, very similar in knowing like the spending, the balancing, we're kind of on the same page about what we want our lives to look like. And so it just helps us to make those decisions together.
So how did you and Gerald come to be in business together?
Interesting story. So Gerald studied business. Neither one of us wanted to be entrepreneurs. We never had any idea that we would. But right around the time we decided we wanted to start a family, which was about 9 years ago, I didn't want to go back to work, and he really didn't either with being pregnant with my daughter. And he had been cooking for me and my friends, my women's groups, and I bought him for his birthday, which would be, I guess he'll be 40 next week. So we're like,
Happy early
so it was around this time, and I brought him 2 chafing dishes from Sam's Club, very simple, an LLC, a phone number, and a business card, and said, this is what we're doing.
Oh, wow.
And it sat on the back burner because I wasn't ready. I was just kind of like, if you're ever ready, like, people keep asking me about this food. And so that's how it started, and then we decided to kind of take it full force. People started asking for us to do things while we were both at work.
Oh,
And
okay.
so we both quit within about 3 to 4 weeks of each other, and we've been full-time ever since.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's been challenging because you're growing together at the same time growing the business, but it's been worth it.
Okay.
Congratulations,
Thank
by the
you.
way.
Thank you.
Life is not easy.
It's
No, it's not. It's not for the thin skin.
It's not.
So hold on. What was the big thing about turning 40? Was that old or something?
Wait a minute. I wasn't gonna say nothing, y'all.
I'm like, it's like, can I share it?
Cause I'm 40 12 over here. Like I'm sitting over here like,
I'm
what's
sitting
wrong
over
with
here
being
like,
40 12?
Let me clear that up really quick. He forgets how old he is.
Oh yeah, I don't feel it.
Yeah, and so he thought he was getting ready to be 39. So we laughed because
I
I'm
promise
like,
you, once
sorry,
you hit
it's
40,
40.
you start remembering again.
That's
'cause
right.
I forgot. I was forgetting.
Yes.
I know
That's
42.
the joke.
Look, and then you'll forget again.
That's right.
And then it won't even matter.
That's right.
It's like,
Yeah.
I got a birthday coming.
I'm gonna be the
It's
same
coming.
man forever at this
Yes.
point.
Yes.
I'm gonna push it
Nobody
back.
needs to know.
Push it
Yes.
back.
My
Oh,
sons
wait,
are
yeah,
so
I
much
know.
older than me right now.
My son.
Hey, that's hilarious.
It's like, or should I say they look older than me? I don't know. So tell us, how did you guys begin to like merge yourselves into business together?
Yeah, so with After 5, it was started off really slow for me in 2019. I was fully vested in my career, so I was in the hole, red, negative. And then when 2020 happened and COVID hit, we got essentially a lot of paid time off through my job, and we worked from home. So I really capitalized off of that. I took that time, which allowed me to be in my personal space and think, and I just kind of dove in and rebranded After 5. And Ed was still working full time in Cincinnati. And then I started to slowly grow in 2020, but in 2021, you can feel when you start to scale. It just feels different.
Yes.
And then I would be asking, and like, you think you could call off to help me pack these orders? And my man is so good, and he's really so supportive that the house that we live in, it literally converted to like the After 5 factory. Like, people don't understand, I think sometimes from the outside looking in, I always say we were trapping out the basement. We have a huge basement, and when I say wall to wall, even in the unfinished area, kitchenette, all After 5. Our hallway and our foyer ended up being all After 5.
Oh, wow.
So
People showing all hours of the night.
yeah, because I did pick up orders.
Yeah.
So he really showed me a lot of grace during that growth period. Because looking back on it, hindsight, I don't know if I personally would have that patience, and I like my space to look a certain way.
Oh,
so
yes.
I'm very appreciative of those moments and those years that he allowed me to take over our home.
Growth, yeah.
And essentially, it wasn't really a home until we were able to get in a position to do the brick and mortar. And then I was able to leave my job first, and then he followed suit, and it's just been upward from there. And he loves the nightlife. We are very social people.
Okay.
Even in our young age, you know. And so, because that's who we are personally, we wanted to create and start a business that was reflective of that, because that's who we are. We believe in the art of socializing and people getting together and having a great time and creating memories.
That sounds
Excited for that.
amazing. So, we heard the nice pieces. I like to know what happens when it doesn't look so nice and we're not in love right now. Like, what do you do? What do you do to get over that? And like, do you go to separate corners in the ring, come out fighting? Like, what does that look like when you guys have to endure a challenge?
Go ahead. You want to answer? Okay.
There is no wrong answer.
There is no. First of all, I appreciate the question because it's a transparent question that requires a transparent answer. And this is like the side of business, especially when you're working with your spouse, that people don't see and that you don't discuss publicly a lot too. But I know for us, we have two different communication styles. Just to be clear. And so when we get at a point where we're butting heads and it becomes, it either can just go down or like all the way down to like down. We just decide to kind of separate spaces.
Okay.
So we have a large home. So sometimes like I might go up to the loft. He may be in the living room. I may go to the office. He may go to the bedroom. And we just take those moments to decompress.
Okay.
And honestly to be silent and sit with our thoughts. And because we know it goes back to knowing each other so well
Yes.
that he knows me. He may come in ever so gently, like, they creep in the room, hey, babe, that, and then offer me some food, and that's like
That's
an olive branch.
That is.
And then once that's softened, we're able to pick up where we left off, even in the argument, but we're able to communicate differently.
Right.
Versus the hostility it may have been going towards. Once we take that breather, someone throws the olive branch, we're able to come back together and figure it out.
Right.
I will say, I just want to add this. It's very important that working together, if you have a disagreement, when we disagree a lot, even if we're not talking, we still try to take care of business.
Very
Just to
much
try to
Absolutely.
focus on what needs
Always.
to be done. Like, it'd be like, oh, I'm not talking. But I
but
need her to
this.
deal with this.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. And then we'll be like, it'll go from a stern, like, hey, did you check on this? Or did you call those people? Or and vice versa. So it's like we definitely focus on the bigger picture for every situation.
Yes.
That makes everything go well.
Because the little things can't impede on the huge goals.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it could be the smallest thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And, it's like, that's not that important. Let's deal with this big stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you guys do?
So it's funny, in the very beginning, we had like no arguments, no disagreements, which was very weird. Not in our marriage or in the business, but then that scaling came up. And once you start to scale, you get employees and other people that are in your business, and you need to, like you said, answer those phone calls and talk to people. And so now, when we disagree, it can get really big. And it's not necessarily disagreements about the business, it's more of our personal life. And who we are as people, because you get lost in that within the business. He is very easygoing. He can still tell you to this day, he has not been mad at me to the point where I know that he's mad. That doesn't mean he's not internally upset with me, but he's never actually been mad at me. I'm always mad. So that's just like, right? In transparent, I'm always mad.
I got to work on that.
It's like,
or we need to talk. Like, I'm always mad.
that's a hashtag Darden thing. It's like, oh, we gonna fight.
It'll be the small stuff.
It does, but I think the point, like you said, as far as working together, it is so important to put the business first.
Absolutely.
In regards to long-term goals. So he can call me or he'll text me the same way you said, Ed, and say, I know you're busy or I know you're upset, but is so-and-so coming to work today? Or what time are they scheduled?
Yes.
And it's like, don't forget that these things have to run, and it's bigger than us, it's bigger than you. Doesn't mean it's bigger than our marriage, but it's bigger than what we're going through right now.
We're gonna work those
Absolutely.
issues out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But this stuff still be waiting on us.
That's right, or it'll get worse, whatever the issue is at work, so.
Yes, because on both sides, I see legacy pieces. Like, you guys are building a brand, a boutique/event space, which is very unique. And now expanding to Cincinnati, and now giving Dayton the gift of a premier club. That is really a legacy building move. We still, see, now I'm dating myself, but I have memories of Spunkies. But sadly, we haven't had much since then. And Spunkies had national attention. Like, it was such it was a crown jewel in the gym city,
My mom had a reception there.
Absolutely.
Wow.
There were so many cool things that happened at Spunky's, and so many people came through Spunky's. And I go to other places, other cities, you know, and they would talk about Spunky's. Well, I came to Spunky's, and you guys are going to provide us a space where you're going to have, you know, people come to date, and they're going to be like, well, we've got to go to the reserve. Like, it's a must see. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
for
see
you all
it.
to see it either. It's been a long 18 months, but it's beautiful, and it looks a lot different than it did before.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's beautiful. We're proud of it.
Now, tell us about your grand opening events.
Yes. So we're doing like a series of openings this week. So Thursday we do have an invite-only soft opening, which you all already know you're invited to. And then Friday we have another soft opening featuring DJ Danny with the reintroduction of Latin Night / soca / reggaeton.
I love DJ Danny.
Yeah, he's fab. He's great. His whole entire vibe. And then Saturday is our official grand opening, very highly anticipated in our community in Dayton, and then kind of outside of Dayton too, in Columbus and Cincinnati. So early arrival suggested or VIP section suggested until they last.
Yes. Congratulations
Thank you.
again.
I appreciate that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and thank you for sticking that out to give us a gift.
Oh,
Yes,
no problem.
Many times.
It's so crazy. I don't believe that, you know, customers, clients, guests, I don't think they really embrace the fact that entrepreneurship is a real gift. And the labor that you put into to provide that gift to the community is, you know, I don't know if it's ever fully paid, you know, because it's like you do get money back, but it's like, I cried
Oh, a lot.
a lot.
Oh,
I smashed my finger, you know, it's like those
Yes.
things that you do to get to the process, to get to the finish line. It is a gift that you are delivering. So I can't wait to unwrap it.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank
yes.
you.
And then we have you guys, and you guys have kicked open doors where, you know, in spaces where there wasn't African American caterers even on the list, and you guys have placed yourself there, and you're doing a wonderful job. How does that feel?
I think it feels great some days, and some days it's you go back and you think like, I can't believe I have to do this. I have to kick this door down. And
In
that-
2024.
In 2024, and
Yes.
that can be emotionally draining. And we even talked about this recently. You know, our staff is very diverse,
Yes, it is.
and we have to have conversations in our weekly staff meetings about race, and not because we have internal issues, but letting them know what to expect from customers and clients
Oh,
that will
wow.
encounter this, you know, company that they hired for this big event and they didn't know we were black, or they find out later. So it's been challenging. We're very proud of being in Dayton Art Institute. We're proud of being in Arcade. But we also, you know, thank you because, you know, when we started with in Chef Ann Kearney's kitchen out in Rue du Maine.
Yes, out on Far Hills.
Yes, 725. Yep. And so we started there, and then we needed a space for tastings, and so we went to Third Perk, and we used to hold our tastings at Third Perk, and so that moved into obviously we have our own space now, but those type of opportunities, like if you present that to us, then we can present that to other people, and it just continues to flow. And I think the goal now, and sometimes a lot of pressure, but we always talk about not being the only ones. So like that's not the goal. So we're okay with being the first. We're very proud of it. We acknowledge it, but we don't want to be the only. So like how do you pull somebody up?
Yep.
And we just pray that they're ready, because we also know what it looks like when you're not ready.
Very much
Absolutely.
so, yeah.
And what that can look like for us too. So we're not oblivious to the doors that we've knocked down. We hope to do more, but we also hope that it's just something that happens continuously within our community.
Absolutely.
Because this doesn't.
And I appreciate you even bringing up that partnership
Yes.
that we shared, because in so many instances they talk about how couples can't work together, and they talk about how women can't work together, or small businesses, black businesses can't work together, and this is a prime example of how it works.
That's right.
So I'm really excited about, again, just seeing you guys grow. The wedding, oh my
Yes,
God,
yes.
that's gonna be
Yeah,
like, oh my
we
God.
actually postponed our wedding 2 years because originally we were going to get married in 23.
Okay.
But I originally thought the after 5 construction would be done in 22 because I signed the lease in 21. But as you know, we came to find out. Yep.
Yes.
We didn't open that until 23, and then we were knee deep into this project. So that you gotta sometimes be ready to put your personal life not on the back burner, but it does kind of it takes a pause when you're on a big project or when you got tunnel vision and you have a goal that needs to be met. So. Yeah.
Well, and the wonderful thing about what you guys are doing is that the commitment is already there.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not that you're not doing it to build the commitment. You have a commitment, and that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. And so one of the things that I want to share with our viewers is entrepreneurship has its challenges. So usually this whole season is new for us. So this is what we're calling our 3rd season. And in this season, I have broken out of the solo interviews and I'm having these group interviews. And one of the things that I've asked traditionally in the podcast was a business challenge, something that came up against you and you had to overcome it. Because in the whole series with the Broken Entrepreneur, I was really looking at my business and trying to figure out what I needed to do in order to fix it. So my answer, after really looking at what was going on in my personal business over a year, I decided to close my downtown location and really look at a way to be more sustainable and to be able to really have growth that would be a legacy for my family. So we decided to leave a space that had some challenges, structural challenges, and go into a space that we own and really just put all of our efforts there. So that was one of my biggest challenges over the last year was really just uncovering what I needed to do. And we'll be operating 2 businesses under one roof. So the business is the Soul Food Carryout. The building was bought to be a Soul Food Carryout. Hint, hint, we'll be looking for some of that business. So the Soul Food Carryout is there, but the building was originally a bank. So we're going to take the drive-through of that bank, enclose it in for a drive-through coffee space. So we'll have a lot of the hints of Third Park without the come in and sit down portion. So, oh my goodness. And it's so sad, like the last few weeks, it's like, I don't have any coffee. And it's like, you gotta make it at home. It's like, you can't make it with this little machine. I want my big machine. So, we're very excited about that, but that was me getting over my challenge. My challenge included really just reevaluating my current business model and doing something that was going to make more sense. And I was so over the traditional coffee house brand as far as people coming in and sitting. I honestly, it was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And when you get to a point where you don't want to do something in your business, when your passion is gone, you really have to figure out how to make that shift. And I had to make a shift, even though it really hurt, because I was like, people are going to be mad at me. But it's like, but I don't want to be here. So I had to do something different, because I had really lost the passion to just being in it. And it only worked if I was in it.
Exactly.
And that was the other piece. So if I wasn't in it, if it wasn't me, then there was a totally different effect that people would receive, So what is a challenge that you guys have come up against, and how did you get through it?
I think I talked enough.
Okay, I can speak. I think one challenge that we face continuously is, I guess, like fighting against public perception of like what a boss is, or what you should be doing, or like how it looks from the outside. Like if you're in it every day, like you got to work in your business and work on your business. But basically, we get to the point where like we're working every day. And then you get to the point where you kind of feel the business stall. Now you got to go back to the drawing board, literally. Like we go get poster board, put them all around the house and just get to it. Just really start just reorganizing the business and like where we're moving forward. But a lot of times that pushes you back into the business, you know. So we have a really strong team. We have a wonderful team, and we also value our, you know, employees and everything. So you got to worry about like how to keep them working,
Yes.
and also just like how to keep the growth coming. And, you know, but every time we do that, it seems like you go and you put in the work for 6 months, 9 months, a year, whatever. You go and look back, and you're doing things that you never thought you'd be doing. No.
Wow.
So basically, but no, you know, so basically it's just like the regrouping, but then you have like advisors or people that's respecting the business community, whatever, they always say like, I see you up to 6 in the morning again, I see you back in it. But they don't know that you're not just back in it for the sake of being back in it, but like anytime you scale, it's like, well, you can go out and hire a bunch of people, or you can just throw yourself back in and then get to the next level, then you pull out again. But then anytime you jump back in, you know, you're growing, you know, so.
You may see me jump back in and make coffee or do whatever, but it's also 300% growth during that time frame. And so me being there kind of scales that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Wow. Wow. So what have you guys experienced?
Well, okay, so I'll say so on the end, really it kind of is for both businesses we currently have, is when you're going into a brick and mortar in an actual setting, the expectation of what it costs and versus the reality. So we can talk about expectation and reality. And then the expectation and reality of the time that it takes. So those were honestly our two biggest challenges, our two biggest curves. With After 5, signed a lease in 21, didn't open until 23. And with that project, I actually had a full GC, it was a full GC suite. So I had a project manager, so I was actually hands-on, but I was still able to do what needed to be done for my business to make money, because without revenue, none of this can happen. Literally,
Absolutely.
Literally, it all takes money. And I know that for the After 5 project, I had to put in a lot of my own capital, which people sometimes think, you know, and I also was honestly fortunate enough to secure business funding, which honestly was harder to get than buying a mansion. Like business funding, if you go like the SBA route, it is not an easy process. And that's another challenge that I didn't expect that was presented, and that took 9 months for me to close. That SBA process was a very long process, and things still had to get done in that interim. So in that time, I was paying for it, and at the end of the day, even with those larger scale loans, you still have to pay them back. And
Absolutely.
you actually have to give them a percentage of the total loan amount to get the loan. There's a lot of different factors.
Yes.
And I believe now, and I know me and Eddie know now that, and kind of going back to what Clarice already spoke on, is reaching back into the community with like-minded people or collaborations. And that is probably the biggest thing, I think, when we get to that point and we're reaching back and pulling people in, is that educational piece. That reality versus expectation. And then with the reserve, last year, we signed our lease in 22. We were told we were good to go. Didn't need a permanent site. Oh, y'all don't need a permit. We went, at the time we had a project manager who went to the buildings department and got us reoccupied based on the previous plans. However, those plans were from 2007. So let's fast forward. When me and Eddie really started putting the oil in the engine and we really started getting running with construction this summer, it all got put to a halt because the fire department came in and it was like, "Where's your permits?" And we didn't think we needed any.
Oh, we
So
did. Okay, so we really kind of did, but didn't. They basically wanted us to reoccupy.
yes.
So we had to. So
All the
they basically
changes.
said that the place was, since it was closed for over 30 days or so,
Yeah.
we had to reoccupy. But
Wow.
I felt like since we got the occupancy, it shouldn't have been an issue. And I don't know who all is going to watch it, so I'm not going to go all into that. But I will say, I guess it worked out because hindsight, you know, we get to where we are now, this place does look a lot different. So it may have drawn some issues, but we ended up having to reoccupy, and then we had to make some changes to the kitchen because there was never a kitchen there.
Right.
So we had to do a plumbing permit and stuff for that. But when that all happened, we were just sitting idle for like 4 weeks. And my mom's like, we just spent all this money and we go in this
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
None of the dime until this is, till we start up. So it actually slowed us down quite a bit because then we had some contractors that already started the job in that time and had to double back.
Yep.
So we once we got that all squared away, then it was all about just getting our occupancy, and then I guess our liquor license is after health. So, but health won't come out until you get occupancy.
That's
right.
And then, so it was just like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah, it's
let's
something.
go. So when we finally got them all passed, we had to look. I mean, the excitement was definitely there. I actually had a little tear, but I didn't show her. Wiped it real quick. I was like, wow, it's a long time coming. So
It is very humbling.
yeah,
Wow,
it definitely
yes,
is because I've
most
worked all my
definitely.
life. So now I swear I would think that I used to work hard and I was in maintenance.
Nothing compares to
I-
entrepreneurship.
Nothing compares. I'm
Nothing.
talking about we hired all kinds of contractors, and we've hired people to do everything. But there's still stuff that when you have some people, they're in here, this person is here, someone has to fill in this gap, and then so that was me. I'm filling in the gaps. I'm working
All the
nights,
time.
evenings, and then going up to the store. We're flipping the store back and forth.
After events.
Yeah.
Actually, we did an event with you, and
Yes,
you saw me. I was
yes.
I was actually coming up to yours, and then going back down to work. Oh, it was like, oh man, I'm just so glad we're here now. And then, so that will be one of the challenges. We've got to figure out how we can alleviate some of this work, so that way we could take on some of the bigger tasks. And then they're not even that big. It's just like. It's like 5 phone calls I was supposed to make today.
Right.
That got pushed off to 5 o'clock because I was doing
Other things.
other things.
Yeah.
One
Yes.
thing that is funny, Puff Daddy said this, but he said, once you start you do things because you know what you're doing. You know what you
Yes.
want,
That's
Mhm.
it.
and it's important for you to be involved. But then at some point, you have to be a thinker, and it's really hard to think and do.
Right.
So
Yes.
if you want to step away and think, it's like I pay you to do so that I can think and we can do more.
Yes.
Right.
That's
Yes.
And I like you said, we've all been in that space. Yes, I'm moving furniture because I want this event space to work. And do you really need to hire someone to do that? Like, not right now.
But
So
eventually-
again, but eventually you will. But I think that is just something that entrepreneurs don't think about. There's a lot of work.
Right.
You can't just
Right.
push that off to people right away.
Yeah.
Work in your business for as long as you can.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And when you make that transition where you need to step away so that you can think, it is so important for you to have people on board
Right.
who understand that process is necessary.
Yeah.
Because if you have people who think that you're going away to have fun time,
Mm-hmm.
or you're doing something,
exactly.
not being able to truly value that time that you're doing admin work or visionary work or networking, because networking begets money.
That's right.
So it's very
Yeah.
important for you to do things like that, because you get into a right space and then you're in a space for corporate Christmas parties and you're booked all December. Those things are very important. So it's so valuable to have a team that gets all of that.
Yes.
Yes. And Erin, you said something about educating. So I purchased the building that I bought in 22. I started the process in November of 21. I actually was one of the first to receive the Women Business Enterprise loan through the state of Ohio. And it was, so the best part about that loan is that it's a 1.5% interest rate, right? And that was one of the things. It was like, no, you need to go into your own space. This mortgage is not even $700 a month, and this is where you can grow. This is where you can really do some building and legacy work. But we closed on that loan in June of 22.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
And it was, some of the like you go through a whole process to get to a hearing, and then you go through the hearing, and then your stomach is just like, I'm like, I don't know if I've done all this, if it's going to happen. But if you get to the hearing, you're pretty much moving forward. But even after that hearing portion, there was still another portion of time, and there was just so much work, but there was no one really there to guide
Absolutely.
through that process.
Yes, and it's like they always need something. The collection of
Yes,
information is
yes.
ongoing,
Yes,
monthly almost.
yes.
It's
So
different.
to really be able to like let people know, hey, this is how we do this. These are the things that you need to have in place. And you know, that 1% interest loan, one of the things that, you know, there was a portion of the funds that was going to be reimbursed. So my loan, they paid for the property, and then there was a portion for working capital. So, but you had to spend it to get it.
Oh yeah.
So if you're spending to get,
Oh, yeah, we
and that's
know
not really
Helping.
like that wasn't anything that you really knew.
That doesn't really help
Yeah.
them. But they set you up in that situation. That's another challenge we're not going to speak of, but yeah.
Yeah, but but when you don't know that that's a part of the process, when you get there and you're at the end and you're feeling like it's smooth sailing now, it's like, well, I gotta come out with $40,000.
Just to be able to draw from your loan.
Yeah, it's like that's what I came over here for you guys for.
It's
But
something.
that is a thing.
And that's the biggest thing is then you, and the point, you've paid all these people already. So you're probably out $30,000-$40,000
Or
now.
more.
Already.
Or more. And then you got to turn around and spend another $40,000-$50,000 to get a loan. It's like, I could have just paid out of pocket because in my
And done with it.
expectations
Yeah.
Yes.
was that I was going to get a loan.
Yes.
So we've been, scaling, and that costs money. And
So you're
that's
doing
like,
you're doing
yeah.
the accordion. It does.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
We tried to do it debt free the entire time,
Yes.
and then it has its challenges personally because you're putting your money into it. It's all of your money. But now the challenge is that you feel like you've made it because you've done it this way and you're making this much money and things are profitable. But then when you're like, oh, okay, well now I want to get a loan. It's like I don't want to wait 10 months. Like, you know who I am? You feel that way because you worked so hard and you put all of your stuff and you can show them for years that I've always put that 40,000 up. You know, I've done that over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's I think that's a challenge that we haven't really had to go through yet. But doing our research, we realized that it's a fight.
Oh, and you need to get it while you don't need it. Get it when you don't need it.
Exactly.
Because if you start the process when you absolutely don't need it, in 12 months or 10 months or 6 months when you need it, then you'll finish the process. You know,
Yeah.
because it's not one of those things where you like, I'm sweating today.
Right.
Well, in 3 weeks, you're still going to be sweating.
Hey, that is so funny.
You're going to be drowning over there.
Didn't I just already send you the same P&L? Got an ass
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I love
So, that's one of the things, when they say go get it while you don't need it.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
so,
It's pros and cons because the mindset is, you don't need it, but since you know that you're approved and you're about to get it, you take the opportunity to say, well, I'm about to scale
do
this up.
something. Yep.
The more we could do, the more in clothing, the more you buy, the more you can sell, the more you
You
do.
make.
So it's like,
Absolutely.
okay, so this will be like, they give you expectations. Expectations don't necessarily line up to what, but the expectation for you is to make sure that what you said you're going to do, you got to do.
Right. For you, of course. Yeah.
So stay liquid as much as you can, and if it's a possibility, just in your mind, don't count on what they're supposed to do because it
Absolutely.
can
Right.
always change.
Yeah.
yes,
So-
Always
yes,
change.
Especially that time frame.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that time frame was crazy. When I closed in December of 22, I was like, well, damn, I've almost been in my lease a whole year. Going, yeah. And I had poured so much into that project financially or just personally on my end. When I finally got the loan and we could do draws, I was just like, but I had a construction loan, so it was set up a lot different.
Absolutely.
And I will say, always have representation with you. I had a project manager at the time. I did not include my attorney in the loan process. But hindsight 2020, my project manager was good, but in the loan process, when we got to the closing table, I should have most definitely included my attorney because I was under the assumption, based on what was told to me, that the loan itself was for construction. I had to stay in that bubble. And so in my mind, I'm like, I have to utilize all this money on construction. Because they almost explained to me, like, use it or lose it. But now, in my much more mature state of mind, having done 2 projects in 2.5 years, it's not a thing. You don't use it or lose it, because when they fund you, they get kickbacks from the government. You don't lose it. And then at the end of the loan, when I had like, X amount left, they're like, oh, we'll just roll this over into your line of credit. You can use it as working capital. I'm like, well, I would have definitely chose a different set of furniture. My furniture was very expensive. I would for sure have gotten it from Amazon. Had I known.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Have representation. Read those. Oh man, my loan is very thick. So,
and that's how I learned about how I was going to have to draw the monies, because there was a process that my attorney had to do. Like it had to be done with an attorney. Okay. So he came over, he said, Juanita, this is going to be like da da da. And I was like, my lips are quivering. But at that point, it's like the owner was like, you're not going to ever close this deal. I'm like, Benji!
It feels like you're not, though.
It's crazy for documentation, too. And I think that's a process people don't think about.
And that's
someone else is waiting on the money, not just you.
That is so very true. Because my GC team, they were knee deep. They had finished, because we had, After 5 was nothing. It had no plumbing, no electrical, nothing. And by the time I closed on my loan, the white box was finished. All of that core work. And there was at least a good almost $200,000 worth of work done. And I'm like, well, I can't draw until about 3-4 months down the road. But they were a really solid team. I used Windsor. They're a great team in GCs. Absolutely great. They were great.
Yes, and that's the difference with working with companies who are accustomed to that process. Because if a company is accustomed to the process, then they already know how things are going to move, which is comforting, because they're not doing you like, and it's like, wait.
I can't imagine how that would have been. Like,
yes,
I will say the first floor flood, was remarkable. It
Really?
was a whole lot smoother.
Okay.
It was everything they said it was going to be.
Yeah, it was very transparent.
It was very transparent. It was very smooth. It was, you got to, we had to put our percentage.
Yep.
As soon as we got to the point that we paid it, we didn't have to give them any physical money. We just had to show them that we paid what we paid. And then it was like, okay, you can start drawing.
I will tell you that Shane Wilkins.
We love Shane.
We love Shane.
Yes.
Let me tell you why. Because again, we're new to this process. We're like, we don't really need anything, but we should need something. Or we realize that our payroll is $50,000 a month.
Yeah.
So we keep doing this without any help.
Right.
Yeah.
And with that being said, he has been very clear about what the expectation is, what he can give us, and we moved in our space in May. It's a full food court, and he's like, you've already paid to fix this up and open it. We'll still reimburse you for that, for what you've already done.
Good.
He was very transparent. I think the city of Dayton did a great job, because we laugh about it all the time, but we are on the face of our bank, and we're like fighting, trying to figure out what they need from us, and it's just a lot. When it's like the city of Dayton has been very helpful.
Right.
So they're the best. I would have, if had I known that they had that program prior to before After 5, I would have utilized them for After 5 versus the traditional route that I went. Explore all your local resources.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Citywide is top tier.
They work with
great.
you.
Yeah.
So the money comes when you need it. By the time her money came, I was like, I'm just going to pay for it. Yeah, I mean.
At that point.
Like she said, they were 200 in. So she made several big lump sums payments. The expectation was that was supposed to be reimbursed.
Oh.
No.
They
didn't reimburse. So it's like, well, damn, the expectation was that was supposed to be in a loan. So now you got a big loan payment. Plus you removed a lot of liquid.
Right.
So those are the things that people don't think about. So you have to really be real prepared.
Yes, as much as you can be, but can you ever be? Can you ever really be prepared though?
Yes.
So
That's the fun part about being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because it is exciting to wake up to a new adventure every day. Yes. So, oh my goodness. So let me tell you guys, I was so excited about inviting you both to the podcast because at this point we're just trying to make sure that we're showing a good representation of what entrepreneurship looks like. And just really, yes, work. Yes, but really giving the viewers an opportunity to see various pictures. And this is goals right here. Both of y'all, goals, okay? So as we're wrapping it up, do you guys have anything else that you'd like to share with with our viewers? Do you want to give them some information on how they can reach you, where they can find you? Clarice?
I'll go first. I would like to share just something I say all the time is this is unprecedented for the Dayton community. Like, we've known entrepreneurs, you've been an entrepreneur for so long, and your brick and mortar was something new to people. So when you look at Kate at Twist, and you look at you and Jasmine Brown and her husband, her late husband, what's the other, Downtown Brown, Agnes.
Yeah.
So all those people, when you first came about 18 years ago, this was like, okay, it's not just downtown, this is where they chose to be, but we can all do this. This is something that we can do. And so I hope that more entrepreneurs take the route of what I call a real business.
Yes.
And make your business real with the intent to actually be goals for yourself and for other people, because that's where legacy work is done. That's where
Absolutely.
you're able to really pull, ourselves or people out of poverty and employ each other when we make real businesses. And then for us, we're Rich Taste Catering.
Yay.
So we are a full service caterer, weddings, large events is what we kind of stick to. And then we have the marketplace that is open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 2, and we serve breakfast until 10:30 and a full salad bar. And
Sounds
that's downtown in the
delicious.
Premier Health Building.
RFG outside the marketplace.
Oh, RFG is the marketplace.
We'll say outside of it.
What about it? No, what'd you say?
I was like, no, go ahead.
Oh, what?
Well, it's more than the marketplace.
Oh, what is it?
Okay.
Oh, what is RFG? I mean, tell me. I don't know.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, a lot of people think the RFG is just the marketplace
Oh, yeah,
downtown,
yeah.
but it's a food service solutions group.
Sorry.
So we do short-term and long-term food service solutions for a lot of large companies.
Oh, that's right, because you guys helped the Marriott out, the
yeah.
new Marriott.
That's right. So when they open,
That's
we
right.
took all their food to the back door until their kitchen open.
That's
When the
right.
rooftop open, they can do their own food, but we did it until then. And he's right. We provide food to.
Well, I don't think you should drop all the
I'm
contracts.
not-
We
I
don't
got-
come get our contracts together.
I'm saying hospitals.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I said that.
Look.
Hospitals, universities,
Professional sports,
professional sports.
Okay.
We do all of their food.
I love
So that is the
That's
RFG
amazing.
side. I forget what we do. It's tiring.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
a lot.
He's
But,
right.
but that's major.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
it
major.
is.
Yes,
Yes.
that's
It's
major.
really groundbreaking, especially to be a young black couple.
Yeah, 'cause it was
Absolutely.
amazing. We went to a charity where you guys
Yes,
were,
yes, yes.
were featured at, and it
Oh,
was
the gala.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
gala.
Yes, yes.
That
And
was fun night.
it was
It was.
amazing. And the food was great. It was like
Oh,
it was it
I
was.
cleaned my plate in that gala with millionaires. I was like,
They hold-
I always
That plate up.
get my healthy girl plate.
yes, healthy girl plate.
Yes.
it
Healthy
still has
girl
to be
plate.
said. Like they catered a gala full of millionaires.
Yes,
But you
literally.
know what the funnest part was? We were all in the front row together.
Yes.
We
We had the
were,
front table.
yeah.
And so I think that's
And we like to
also
appreciate
something.
y'all fighting
Yes.
us.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
Wow. Wow. Do you guys have anything you want to share before we go?
So this is in February. So by February we'll be a month open by then.
Yes, we're celebrating that.
So-
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
That's awesome.
I guess say that you can reach us at the Reserve and After 5,
Okay.
and then we hope to be have some more employees after 5,
Okay.
and to be your turn.
Okay.
What days are the reserve going to be open? When can we come to the reserve?
Yeah, so the reserves are, most popular nights are going to be Thursday through Sunday. Thursday nights are going to be our EDM night. So if you like to dance, a great night to come. Fridays, we're bringing back the Latin and soca night. And then Saturdays are what we like to call our popular music night. It's going to be catered towards the crowd. Popular hip hop, popular R&B. And then Sundays, it's more of a kind of wind down, chill vibe, but very much Sunday fun day. So new and older R&B, a lot of line dancing music. And then Monday through Wednesday, Monday we likely may or may not be open. Tuesday and Wednesday though, it's just going to be 4 to about 12 a.m., 4 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Wow.
until further determined.
Okay.
But yeah, and we're 452 East 3rd, Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. Book your VIP reservations because you're going to need them on Saturday. That I promise.
It is every day.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay, guys. So if you haven't did it already, make sure you're subscribed to The Broken Entrepreneur on our YouTube channel. And you can also follow us on Instagram. So, guys, again, thank you so much for being here and sharing and being so transparent. I appreciate it. And I'm sure that our viewers were able to pick up something. Remember, guys, your solution is out there. So please make sure that you keep on going. Every step counts. Don't give up. And I am Juanita Michelle, your favorite perky barista. I will see you on our next episode. But until then, stay perky and keep on brewing on the good stuff. Peace.